So there are lots of different types of appraisals, and a lot of times I will sit down and talk with a seller and they'll say, hey, my house appraised for this, and there's some questions that need to be asked in that instance. For instance, like when was the appraisal and why was the appraisal done? A great example is a refi appraisal. A lot of times a refi appraisal comes in high because you're not purchasing a property. The bank has already taken on the risk of it. A lot of times you've got a substantial amount of equity in it. You have to think about the reason for an appraisal in the first place. So for instance, on a purchase appraisal, the bank is saying, are we willing to take on your risk? They don't want you to overpay for the property because they don't know you. They don't know that you're going to keep making your payments. And if you default on it, they want to know that they haven't over lent money on it because they're going to need to get that money back like in a foreclosure. On a refi, can they foreclose on you if you stop paying? Absolutely. But generally, you already have a substantial amount of equity or you wouldn't be refinancing the loan. So that's one reason why those come in high. You should also be mindful when the appraisal has been done because really the real estate market is fluctuating all the time. So if you're dealing with an appraisal from like 3 years ago, that's not going to be indicative of your current property value. So make sure that if you're going to make a decision based on an appraisal, whether you are purchasing a property from like a for sale by owner and they're saying, hey, I have this appraisal, or if you're purchasing or if you're trying to sell your property and you are basing it off of an appraisal, make sure it's current. Make sure you know the reason why it was done because they just really are going to come back with different numbers. Also, appraisers are people, and I have a lot of friends who are appraisers and they're great people and they study hard, but at the end of the day, they're people. And so, one appraiser is going to find a different total than a different appraiser. So just make sure that you are paying attention to reasoning, timing, and knowing that there is human error involved.